What's up, everybody? Master Reactor here, and today we are going to do a review, go figure, of the game I just played. So this was a pretty interesting game. This guy's playing some cyber jar, flip, empty jar, bullshit. He says he doesn't know what heavy slump is, so that's a good sign for me, but let's see. It's 10-10. 10-10. 10-10. It's 10-10. 10-10. What time is it? 10-10? 10-10. Alright, so he gets to go first, obviously. He opens Morphin Jar number 2, Solemn, Threading Roar, Book of Moon, Graceful Charity, and Night Assailant. Okay, I got Wang Blast, Spy, Book, Mirror Force, and BLS. He draws double Thunder Dragon and Solemn and Shallow Grave. That's funny as shit. And what a fucking, what a graceful. So I draw Yugioh. I set the Spy and set the Wing Blast. I have no idea what this guy's playing at this time. Well, obviously he shows Morphin Jar number 2, so I do know it's some stupid fucking flip control bullshit deck, but it's fine. So he draws Solemn Judgment or Book of Moon for turn or some shit. I don't know. Maybe he already had Solemn. But he sets a Solemn. I flip up the Spy. Go get me a Spy. I pot agreed. He says okay, because I guess he's trying to deck me out or some shit. So I draw Knock and Thunder Dragon. Pitch the Thunder Dragon. Go get it. And I decide just to attack with the Gravekeeper Spy and hit him for 1200. And set Book of Moon and say go. He draws Upstart Goblin. Fires the Upstart. I get 1000. He draws a Needleworm. What a card. I'm gonna just fire this Heavy Storm here and just say screw it. He chains Threatening Roar. I chain to put the monster back on top, and he decides to Solemn the Wang Blast here, which is questionable, but I guess it's fine. And then I decide to Tribute and bring out the BLS right now. Why I did this, I really don't know. Maybe I should have just knocked, probably fucked me up, but it is what it is. So he draws Cyber Jar for turn. He gets his Night Assailant back here, and I get my Thunder Dragon with a Shallow Grave. He sets another Night Assailant and says, go. I banished a new one, flip it up, go for the knock. And this is where I really fucked up, because I could have just killed him this turn. Could have just summoned another monster and won, but instead I give him another turn, which is fucking terrible. And he draws Morphin Jar number 2, and he scoops. So that was game 1. All right. Can't remember if I won game 1 or not, but I guess I did. So I got him game 1. Game number 2, he's got Faith, Tribe, Mind Control, Sangin, Chaos Sorcerer, and Faith. He sets Sangin. I have Torrential, Berserk Gorilla, Tribe, Graceful, Heavy, and Mirror Force. I decide just to fire the Graceful. I draw Deco, Spy, and Sinister. I put Berserk Gorilla in just to be a little more aggressive. Try to get the life points down as quick as possible here. So I run the Berserk Gorilla out and poke into his Sangin. And to no one's surprise, he gets Cyber Jar. Fucking hate that card. I set Mirror Force and set Torrential. He draws Graceful. God, this dude is drawing everything on me. Chaos Sorcerer, Deco, and Solemn he draws. He discards the Deco and the Faith. And he decides to set the Magician of Faith and set Solemn Judgment and say go. I get the Serpent back here. I decide to run the Serpent out. He says okay. And I decide to Torrential. And he doesn't do anything because he's waiting for his Cyber Jar to resolve here. He sets the Cyber Jar and says go. I draw into Ring. I decide to just summon the Spy and crash and get the fucking Cyber Jar shit going. He's gonna get me. What's the difference? It's gonna flip. I got no out to it, so fuck it. He gets a whole bunch of spells. Book of Moon, Giant Trunade, Desert Sunlight, Upstart, Mind Control. I get Thunder Dragon, Sangin, Faith, Thunder Dragon, BLS. So I don't put the Sangin in attack mode here. I'm going to keep him guessing, because I know he has Mind Control. So if I summon the Sangin, he's just going to obviously Mind Control the Faith. So I decide to play some Mind Games with him and set them both, because you could do that definitely. And he draws Chaos Sorcerer for turn. He Giant Trunades me. I have no response. He Mind Controls, picks the wrong one, which is good. Happy he did that. He upstarts into Night Assailant. He decides to run the BLS out, which he knows this is Faith, so he better get rid of it, and he does. He runs out this, sacks some shit, or uses Tribe's effect, discards the Night Assailant to pop his own BLS. Then he gets to run out Chaos Sorcerer and hit me for a shitload of damage. So now he's playing like a flip control aggro fucking chaos deck or some shit. Have no idea. And he sets 3 here. Sunlight, Book of Moon, and Solemn. It says go. Or no, it says 4. And the heavy he says fuck it. I get the Sinister back. I fire the heavy. That's met with Solemn, which is fine. I run the tribe out. He says okay. I pop his Chaos Sorcerer. He says okay. I try to run into his tribe. He thinks about it, and he decides the Book of Moon. I decide to set Ring and set Mirror Force again and say go. He draws into Thunder Dragon, I want to say. Maybe, or he already had it or some shit. I don't know. Yeah, he did. He did draw Thunder Dragon. Okay, so he discards Thunder Dragon, gets both of them. Must be nice. And he sets Jar, and then he Heavy Storms. And I can't do nothing. I chain the Ring like an idiot, which I shouldn't have did probably, because he wouldn't have been able to kill me. And he flips up his Cyber Jar, and I get no monsters here at all, I don't think. Yep, no monsters. All traps and all spells. And he's got the double Chaos Sorcerer with the 2 darks and 2 lights engraved. Perfect for him. Damn, look at this shit. And I fucking ring the tribe like an idiot. So now I'm at 3,500. And he has got the game because he could just run both the Chaos Sorcerers out here. Boom. There's 1. Boom. There's 2. GG. So he's playing Needleworm in his deck. I just don't understand this deck at all, but it is what it is. So we're going to game 3 now. He got me there with the Cyber Jar. Goodies. Congratulations. I get to go first this game. So let's see what happens this game. I got Chaos Sorcerer, Trap Dust Shoot, Wing Blast, Solemn, Heavy, and Deco. Not a bad hand. Pretty decent. I set Deco, set Solemn. I set everything. I Trap Dust Shoot into the Thunder Dragon. He's got Giant Trunade, Upstart, Mind Control, Solemn, and Threatening Roar. So he decides to set 2 and play the Upstart Goblin. He sets the Roar and sets the Solemn. He upstarts into Pot of Greed. Must be nice. I just instantly Solemn the Mind Control. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not playing with it. And he gets Pot of Greed into Graceful in Sunlight. Must be nice. He doesn't fire the Graceful, though. He's waiting for the Thunder Dragon back. I flip up my Deco and get to draw. He says, okay. I draw my Thunder Dragon. I start to attack him for 14. Pitch the Thunder Dragons. And just say go. He draws into Threatening Roar. He sees if it has another Dust Shoot, which I don't. And he decides to set the Desert Sunlight and say go. I drew Graceful Charity here, so this was a really good draw. So I fire the Heavy, which I know is Solemn, because I want him to mill it out so he doesn't Solemn my Graceful. And he says, okay, that's fine. I draw Solemn, Snatch, Steal, and Book of Moon. I discard both Thunder Dragons and attack him for 1,400. He takes it. Now he's only at 19. I set my entire hand and say go. He draws into Morphing Jar. Must be nice. He Giant Trunades me. I decide to chain my Book of Moon on my Deco, which was questionable, but it is what it is. Maybe I could have Solemn, but then he Gracefuls into Sunlight, Solemn, and Sangin. Discards the Sangin in the Sunlight and decides to set 4 and say go. Double Solemn, or no, double Threatening Roar and Solemn with a Desert Sunlight. I draw Faith for turn. He says after I set the first one, he's going to fire the Desert Sunlight on me. So that is fine. I don't know why he didn't do it in the standby phase, but it's all good. He let me set the Solemn Judgment, which will come up later. So he Solemn Judgments. He gets the Morphin Jar off. I draw into Pot, Knock, Breaker, Mirror Force, Wing Blast, and Pot of Greed into Yomi, Kaiku, and then I Deco into Sinister. He's got the Shallow Grave, Night Assailant, Mind Control, Upstart, and Cyber Jar. I'm like, fuck it, let's get aggressive here. He lets the Morphin Jar get killed, and then he Threatening Roars, because he wants it in the graveyard for Shallow Grave. He draws into Book of Moon for turn. So, let's see what happens here. He decides to Upstart Goblin into another Shallow Grave. He Shallow Graves into Morphing Jar, and my dumbass gets Magician of Faith. And he's going to fire the Mind Control on the face down. I chain the Wing Blast to put it back on top right away. He Solemns that, and I Solemn that, the one he let me set. So that was a big one right there, because I feel like if he would have got my faith there, he probably would have fucked me up, because he would have got his pot back or his graceful and drew a whole bunch of shit and drew his Book of Taiyu or whatever the fuck he's playing. So he sets Shallow Grave and says go. I get my Sinister back. I run the Breaker out right away here. And I decide to pick that one. It's a Book of Moon. He sets it down. Nobleman. I try to kill him and he threatening roars. He draws into Thunder Dragon. Gets both the Thunder Dragons. Now he literally has one play here. He can Shallow Grave to get his Sangan back, because that's the only monster he has, because I knocked the fucking Morphin Jar. So thank God. And if he sets Night Assailant, he just loses right away to any monster. So he decides to set the Cyber Jar. He sets Cyber Jar and says go. I draw into Tribe. I flip up everything and crash right into him. And it is Cyber Jar. So he pops my entire field. He says, get that shit out of here. He mills 5 into 5 fucking spells and traps. 2 Taiyus, a Sunlight, a Roar, and a Solemn. So yeah, if he would have got that mind control off, he would have definitely won, because he would have got graceful and drew right into Book of Taiyu. So now I'm just saying, any monster and I got this shit. The Breaker's going too. And I flip it up. I get the knock and show the Kaiku, and he scoops. What a match. Hell yeah. Didn't need to see the rest of the cards. So thankful he didn't draw a monster off of that shit. But maybe I would have drew another one. Who knows? But that was the match. Y'all hit the like, hit the sub. Have a good day or night. Peace out. Bye.